Okay, here we are. We're running live here from Coffs Outdoor World.
Hope you're all having a good day.
Yeah.
Sunny down here, a few waves around.
But I'm going to switch this camera around. Just so you can see what's up to everybody that's over here. Yeah. Okay. So John, I'm going to put you in charge of this. So yeah, we're just going to go live so people can kind of review it and if anyone's got questions. So I'll try to answer any questions here with everybody, and then you can actually go on here too to ask more questions if you forget to do certain things, or certain questions. So we'll do that. Anyway, it's going to be a little bit of a. Okay.
Got the hookups.
So that's it. You're live over there. Yeah. So I don't know who got here first. You guys over here. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can all hear me. I'll try to answer the best I can over here. But does anybody have any questions or
Heaviest wave you surfed?
Heaviest wave I surfed? Heaviest break? I surfed the wave in Tahiti back when I first went there on my first trip. That was probably the heaviest wave. It was before we were surfing Teopo'o. There was another wave called Vidal. It was a big pass, and it was a really big day. And it was it was pretty heavy because the wave would come in and start to surge, and it was big, and then it would surge again and surge again. So it was all these steps trying to get to the bottom. And the guy I was filming with was Tom Boyle. And Tom would tell me, hey, man, how come you're not charging out here? You got to be going, man, hard. I'm like, it's heavy. And he's like, I'm like, it's gnarly. He's like, come on. I'm like, here, you take the board and you go. So he took the board, he took off, and he just totally ate it. So then he gave me back the board, didn't say a word, gave me back my stuff. I'm okay. So, but it was pretty nuts. That was pretty heavy. I've been fortunate enough to get some really good waves in my life. Like, I've gotten good jaws. I've gotten some really awesome outer reef type waves. Shark Island's one of my favorite. It's the only place I ever got stitches, by the way, surfing. Shark Island. It was actually that contest, yeah. Yeah, so if you see a scar on my hand, it's from that surge over there. It kind of ate at me. So yeah, that's kind of it. You know, bodyboarding, you guys know, it's an amazing life. You get to experience some amazing things. And so yeah, it's been an amazing journey for me. Yeah. Sick. Any other questions?
What's the worst injury you've had?
Worst injury I had was probably the only time I got stitches was Shark Island, and then I smashed my shoulder at Kira the first time I surfed it. That was pretty bad. But I've been pretty fortunate. When I surf, I try to be pretty calculated. And so I take risks, but they're calculated risks. So even on big days, sometimes I'll go out the whole session and not eat it because I'm real careful. You know, I approach it real slow and I come in and out. I want to make sure I get back in. So I just started doing the static apnea thing, and I did it like 3.5 minutes. But that was after learning how to breathe. Like I thought I could only hold it for like a minute, but once you learn how to breathe. That really helps. And anyone that surfs in good sized waves, I'd strongly encourage you guys to learn about the static apnea and all the different breathing techniques you use for deep, holding your breath and stuff. It really helps. So, yeah.
Do you have like your own spot like you go to? You're gonna have to stay calm, and obviously you're charging some massive waves out there. So, is there just like a happy place to go to when you're kind of in that tussle, getting bowled around in the wash? You're trying to relax.
Yeah.
Or you're just like, this will end sooner or later.
No, you gotta, you gotta have really control of the mental game. But what I find ends up happening is no matter what, after a certain amount of time, your body goes limp. Yeah. Like your body just can't sustain. Adrenaline.
You can't fight because if you're fighting,
yeah. So you gotta try to remain relaxed as much as you can, and all the way to the point where you feel like you're gonna go unconscious. You gotta try to be as relaxed as possible. And your body can actually go quite a bit further than you think it can. So anyway, that's kind of encouraging. Nice. Yeah. Cool. Any questions from this side, you guys? questions.
How long are you in Oz for this time?
I leave next weekend, so I'm here for another week or so.
Back to Hawaii after
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I go back home to Hawaii, yeah.
Where you been, sir?
I've been surfing down south a little bit, and we just got done surfing Forster area. Yeah, that was fun, and yeah, it's been a great trip. No, but we're heading up there the next day or so. Yeah, well maybe.
I'd like to see you search your aircraft.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I would too. That'd be fun. Right on. Guys, got any more questions or comments?
Apart from yourself, who do you think has been in your time surfing the best bodyboarder?
Oh man,
Tough one.
that's a big one. God, in what capacity? Like, these guys have been.
Style.
Let's see. You know, I've looked up to a lot of different riders over my career. Like, there's so many good riders that you know, you pick little bits and pieces from, and it's kind of like you can apply the same thing to life. Like when you meet someone, everyone you meet is, you know, potentially got something really good. So you can take what the good things are, you know, and that's, you can do the same thing in bodyboarding, wave riding. Like, so many guys do so many cool things, and they're so different that there's really something to pick from everyone. Gosh, it's hard to say. Like, you know, I've had a lot of strong competitors over the years. You know, from Ben Severson to Tamega, Eppo, in the original old school days. Nowadays, it's like all these young guys like Pierre and Jerry and Tanner McDaniel, who's kind of on a rant right now in Chile, which is pretty cool. So it's, you know, all these different generations and stuff. It just keeps it real fresh. So probably just a combination of riders, I think. You know.
What about Garth, Mike? You can't leave.
Yeah. Big Garth had a cracker in Tahiti. Yeah, he's such a character. Like everywhere he travels to, he's well known and generally real well liked too. It's pretty cool. Like Ricardo, where are you, Ricardo? Here. There. So Ricardo's from Canary Islands, and he just got back from there, and he's like a legend over there already, huh? Because he goes and drinks beers with everybody, huh? Yeah. Last year already. Yeah. So anyway, he's yeah, Garth is another guy that's just rips. And what's cool about him is that he's a pretty big guy, and he just uses every ounce of his body in ways that only he can do. It's pretty neat. So that's pretty cool. So it doesn't really matter like what your size is, but you can take advantage of it in different ways.
Mike, would you say his size helps him in heavier barrel
totally.
type
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big bloke. And he gets that inertia going, man. Stay out of the way. Yeah, Garth.
We got one on here, Mike. Simon Holmes asking if you've surfed Skeleton Bay.
I haven't surfed Skeleton Bay. It's on my bucket list for sure, as it is, I'm sure, a lot of people's bucket list. That's for sure. Yeah, that wave looks pretty epic. I haven't been there yet. I'd like to go there. So someday, hopefully, I'll get there. Yeah. Any questions about equipment, about techniques, about knick-knack, paddywhack? I don't know. Anything you guys?
What do you like going better, left or right?
Left or right? Yeah, that's a good question. Which direction I like better? Certain moves I find I go better in certain directions.
Definitely.
And yeah, so even, you know, I've been at it for a long time, and still yet it's always a constant, you know, trying to learn something more, learn this, that, and then you forget things too. You know, you might do some things and you forget about them, and then
Have to keep
yeah.
yeah.
But I do know when you compete, it pretty much exposes the weaknesses and also your strengths. So those two things really are apparent, and you got to really work on those weaknesses. You know, more than anything, I think contests are like a really good signpost as far as what you need to work on.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
it helps you progress.
Yeah, so in theory, you don't lose ever.
Yeah.
In a contest. I mean, you'll lose in placing, but you'll gain in knowledge. So it's so there's always something positive to be taken away from those.
And I guess it brings
trying
back to
moments.
before, like, you know, you've got so many different riders, so you kind of try to pick the best points that someone else you're surfing against has.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, learning about your competitor and stuff. But normally I just focus on trying to get the best ways and doing my thing
Yeah.
more than anything. Yeah.
Best ways,
Hey Mike, Luke Thorsten, what's the future of board design looking like?
Future of board design. Just watch the science line. No,
Yeah.
no, we're you know, there's a long way to go, and there's a lot of opportunity, you know, yeah, just got to kind of incrementally work on it, you know, step by step to try to get to a higher place. But it really is like surfboard design and bodyboard design is really about kind of like it's almost like an animal or something that evolves over time. You know, if things work, we use them, we implement them, we try them, and then if they don't work, then we don't deal with them. Or we shelve them. Okay, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Okay, it didn't work because of this. Okay, maybe we can apply that to this. So yeah, I think there's always room for improvement for board, and as John knows, like I don't know if you guys know who the filmer is here, but this is John Cruikshank. He's a real high level rider here, and he's intricately involved. His whole family, from his young son Jackson, you might have seen on Instagram, to his older kid Hayden, they all rip, and so he's like really into it, and I love working with him because we bounce things off of what works and what doesn't work, and then we just put it into the line and we can move on a dime. So that's been really good. So thanks, John, for all your help.
What about best board you've ever ridden? That's from Shane Willoughby.
Yeah, so you know, from time to time you come across a magic board that just feels like really good. I've had a couple, and I reckon like the boards I got now are pretty darn good. Like they're riding how I want them to ride, and I'm riding a style right now. If anything, I'll go to a slightly narrower style, which is kind of the pro template. And so those two boards. But I did ride a launch right before I came over here, and I was kind of liking that. So I don't know. I'm still learning. You know, I'm still learning just like everyone else in this place is. So you know, it's a constant. As long as you can kind of keep an open mind and keep learning, the ocean and wave riding is like incredible dynamic world that you'll never get bored of, and you can always find something interesting about. Yeah.
Any other questions?
You still body surf?
Body surf?
You still charging on the bike?
Yeah, I still body surf a lot. And actually, the first contest I ever entered was body surfing, because there was no bodyboarding contest where I lived. And yeah, I do a lot of body surfing. I really enjoy that. I think it's a really good way to connect with just the whole surf environment, and the wave, the power, the energy of the wave. Like that, there's no better way to sense the energy of a break than to be in it and amongst the energy of it. And then what's neat about it too is you can form and shape your own planing surface, which is your body. And so you can try all these different things to create different effects. And so for me, body surfing has been a really nice thing. And the best training you can do for it, in my opinion, is riding a bodyboard. Yeah, because you're learning very similar things. You're just going faster, and you have a bigger planing surface, and so you go much faster on a bodyboard. But it's very similar in a lot of respects. So the two are really harmonious. You know, they work well together, I think. Yeah.
Shane says, do you feel there's a massive comeback for our sport?
Is there a massive comeback for our sport? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's just you know, it's kind of been, people have slept on it, and it you know, the whole reason why we all do it is because it's so much fun, you know, and it's a perfect way to kind of interact with the ocean, which is like probably the most dynamic environment that you can be in. So it's like the ultimate vehicle for experiencing barrels, to experiencing waves, and I think it's just a matter of time before the next surge, whatever happens. But a lot of it has to do with promotion and marketing and all this kinds of things. So, but the bottom line is, it's still a lot of fun to do, and as long as that's the case, it's always going to be here. Yeah. So yeah, get out and enjoy it. You know, that's what this life's all about.
Bodyboarding.
So I started when I was quite young, but I didn't compete until I was 18. So I might have been your age when I started riding bodyboards. It was even before Tom Morey did the soft bodyboard. But I didn't start competing because there's no contest until I was 18. So I started really late competitively. but I had a really good foundation built up, and so by that point I was already kind of at a pretty good level, and I could compete at a high level. Yeah, there's what kind of maneuvers are you doing? What's that? Not too many?
Only just started.
Just started. You having fun? Yeah. Well, that's the main thing. Yeah, have fun and enjoy it. And you'll have a rich life. You can always be rich. I always tell everyone, like, you can, it doesn't matter what's happening in the world, like, you can always, if you're, feel uncomfortable, or you got trips happening on land, problems on land, you can always go back to the ocean and recenter yourself and find peace in yourself. So that's like, and it's always there, and it's there everywhere you travel. So fortunately, when I travel, I go to the ocean. It's like going home, So you'll get that, as you go through your whole life. You'll have that opportunity, and it's a wondrous journey you're gonna have. You're gonna see all kinds of sea creatures, and hopefully beware of the sea creatures. Be respectful of them. There's certain ones out there that are obviously hazardous, but just be smart, and learn about them. I think that's a big thing. I think it's important to learn about everyone and everything. But man, the different waves and the different experiences, and the sunsets and the sunrises and the dawn patrols, it's like there's nothing else like it. So that's what's ahead of you. Yeah, cool.
You had many shark encounters?
I haven't had many shark encounters, but I've had one really scary one with a tiger shark in my family. I was diving on the Big Island, and we were diving down, and I had my whole family around me diving, and I was looking around, and it was such a great, it was such a bizarre experience, because I was just going through the emotion of, like, my daughter finally understanding how to dive down and look at the fish. And I'm like, all right, she's getting it finally. And then at that moment, I looked up, and there was a 15-foot tiger in front of us. And I just went, oh man. Now, obviously that fish could have easily eaten us in seconds, but it didn't, and so I kind of had a different perspective on it after that. Like, I renewed the respect. And just like any animal, like a shark will, I mean, obviously there's punks out there, but for the most part, they have animal behaviors. If you run from it, it's going to chase you. If you hold your ground, a lot of times when you see it more than likely it's not going to come after you. They're sneaky. They want to come from a point where they don't, So I had a renewed respect from that. It was very scary at the time, because I was like, oh man, because it was so big. I've been in the water before with sharks, but not big ones, and this thing was like a submarine.
Was she told shark too?
Yeah, so I was a little bit, I was pretty scared at the time, but we got out of the water and everything was fine, and the thing came down, and then it went down, and you can actually see the shark if you type it in YouTube. It later went on, and there's some divers in the middle of the beach that it came up to explore, see what it was. But yeah, what's interesting about sharks, from what I understand, is that they don't want to get hurt. It's dangerous for them if they get hurt, so they don't want the fight. They don't want to deal with that. And so they'll avoid that in most cases. So anyway, there's some things I learned. So I think there's a big misconception about them, and obviously we're into their world when we go in there, so we got to be mindful of that. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, you guys? Any other?
What's your best duck diving technique?
Best duck diving technique. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you guys a couple quick little, kind of some good tips as far as getting through waves. First of all, how many people, does anyone read that article I did about low pressures? Low pressures? Low pressures? Some guys, yes. Deion Myers, yes.
Yes.
Has everyone had a gander at the low pressure article I wrote? Okay, go look it up. That's like that's one of the most helpful things you guys can learn about getting through surf, especially hollow surf. So basically what happens is when a wave breaks, the lip throws, and the lip will actually bounce its way in.
Ago was this article written? Was it
Yeah, you can probably find it online.
was it from years ago?
Yeah, it's from years ago, but it's reposted.
15 years ago.
Yeah. And so, you know, you can use, and the low pressure scale too, like, I've been in really big surf and it's still scalable. The only problem in big surf is you can't really move around enough to kind of make a difference. Where in small waves you can move, you know, maybe like 3 meters really quickly within seconds, and that'll make the difference. In big surf, you got to move like 20 meters, you know, to get into the right place. So a lot of times you're in the right place or not, but you know, when you're duck diving and getting through waves, you want the wave to see the least amount of surface area on the board. So when the wave's coming, if you're like this and the whitewater hits it, it's going to push you back, right? And if you're like this and the whitewater hits you, you're going to go backwards. You're just going to go. So what you want to do is you want to get under the water and angle the board in the direction the turbulence is coming. So the turbulence is coming from this way. You want to be the lowest surface area, like this. And a lot of times it'll actually lift you up, you know, like that. So that's the correct way. So you want this whole board to be pointing towards wherever the turbulence is. See the difference? Like if you're looking at that from that perspective versus this perspective or that perspective. So that's it. So a lot of times if you just get down deep as you can, so get down deep as you can. I usually get on my front of my board and push down, and then I'll use my knee to kind of angle the tail, the nose back up again. So again, you know, it just takes a little while to figure it out. You don't want to go too high or too low. You want to keep that surface area as minimal to where the whitewater is coming. Yeah. Yeah. Duck diving. Any other questions, you guys?
Got one on here asking if you still ride any vintage boards.
Do I ride any of my vintage boards? I have actually recently, and they're pretty fun. They work surprisingly good, actually. Yeah, I mean, we are coming out with the classic, right?
Yep.
So there's a board we're coming out with. It's kind of like a old school board. It's called the Classic, Science Classic, and it's PE core, and it works a lot like it's pretty thick. It's got bigger rails, and it's just a really fun board to ride, especially in smaller conditions. So that's a board I've been kind of tinkering with.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions, you guys? Any other?
How many more years are you going to keep competing?
How many more years am I going to keep competing? I have no idea.
As long as you can.
Yeah, as long as I can. You know, when I was about 18, a friend of mine was like 24, and he started not doing so good competitively. So I thought I had like, well, I got 4 more years left in my career. But at 40, I kind of made a decision. Like my wife said, hey, you know, what's the plan here? You know, are you gonna keep going, or are you gonna, you know, spend time behind the desk, or what? You know, what's going on? So at 40, I kind of committed to it, and you got to make a decision as you get older. You know, if it's something that you want to keep doing at a high level, it's totally possible, totally within your realm, but you got to commit to it. You got to make a decision that that's what you want to do, and if that is your decision, then you got to commit to it physically, you know, time-wise, and so every day I try to stretch. I'll stretch a little bit every day in the morning when I get up. I try to eat really good, really good. Drink water, rest well, common sense stuff, and then do like a core workout every other day. If I'm not surfing a lot, you know, and then I'll try to surf as much as I can. But as long as you do that and you can stay in good shape, you can keep going strong. You know, I almost took out Tahiti. I'm like in my mid-50s, so anything's possible, you know. So it's still trying to figure it out myself. Like I don't know what, yeah. But the mind is like young, you know. Like I want to keep doing a lot of things, and I see a lot of gaps in what guys are doing right now. And you know, a lot of riders these days have just bypassed certain fundamental things that I thought were paramount, and as a result of that, there's gaps in some riders' games. So sometimes I can take advantage of that. Yeah. But I got to step it up too. Like there's a lot of things I got to do more too. So it's not one-sided.
Do you have a vintage board collection?
Yeah, I do, but only by default. It's not something that I meant to collect. It's just I haven't sold a lot of the old boards I have, but I have a bunch of them. Yeah, and they're scattered around. John knows. He's been there.
I've got a couple of them.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, what
I
are
had
you
to
doing?
steal them.
Yeah, he came over and he took a couple. Yeah. So I got a bunch of old ones, yeah, but they're some of them are pretty important to me. Like the first Mach 7, I got the first one with the slick bottom.
Black bottom.
Yeah, and it doesn't look anything like the production one. You know, there's a few. You know, first slick bottom board I made at Tom Mori's shop. You know, it's pretty ugly at this point, but it was pretty cool to make.
Apparently today is the 41st anniversary of the Tom Mori inventing the bottom.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, 7th of July in America.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that's true. Because actually, I'm the one who found the date on it. You know, I'm like, hey Tom, how old is this thing? He's like, oh, I don't know. And I looked, and the newspaper's on there, and actually, I'm looking for the date on the newspaper. That's what I saw. I think it's July 6th or 2nd or something. So I figured, okay, that was from, you know, whatever, the week before his newspaper. They grabbed it and did it. So, yeah. Cool. All right. Anyone else? Any other comments? Thoughts?
All good.
Where's your favourite place to surf in Australia?
My favorite place to surf in Australia, gosh. Man, there's so many beautiful places here. It's I enjoy it. So many places, you know. The wave, I really like Shark Island. That's a really like fun wave for me. But there's so many good waves here. You know, you guys are fortunate to have the resource here that you have. It's really amazing. And as a result, you know, the level here is really high too. You know, as a result of so much good conditions. And guys, you know, your beach culture here is pretty. Like that's a good exemplary model for the rest of the world. Like we only just had junior guards in Hawaii, you know, in the last like 10 years or something. So it's kind of a recent thing for us. We don't have any clubs or minimal clubs. There's not the same thing, you know. So that's pretty cool to have here. But yeah, I like Shark Island. I like Nangin. I like, you know, just the usual suspects. Yeah.
What's your favourite manoeuvre?
Favorite maneuver? Right now, it's got to be an Eni John. Yeah, I don't know. I like anything in the air, anything in the barrel. It's hard to beat a really good deep barrel where you think you're not going to make it and you can come out. That's a pretty good feeling.
Carving 360s?
Yeah, I like cars. I like turns, and especially. I know I've been doing a lot of those. But if you got a lot of speed and there's a good little ball, I like to just like slam it. It's pretty sick.
All right. One of your team riders is asking who you think the best grom in Australia is.
Well, I've been surfing with Liam and Buzz, these two guys right over here, and they both rip. Liam maybe the best at his age, but this grom over here at 13, are you 13? 13, Buzz, he's like a freak with rips, man.
Just towed us all up in the session
he
yesterday.
Much schooled us the other day in the small waves. He's like doing little backies and stuff on waves like this big. It's pretty nice.
It could be even better if he spent less time on yellow.
Yeah. What did he say? He's like, no, he's a really good grom, this guy. Both of them are good guys, good kids. So, yeah, what else?
What do you think the future is in terms of manoeuvres moving forward?
Future maneuvers, yeah, I mean, you know, I kind of predicted this a while back, but it's combined access moves and bigger and heavier waves. You know, that's kind of where it's been going, and that's for the last, you know, 20 years. And, you know, surfing is starting to do a lot of the maneuvers. I mean, it's different in their posture and stuff, but a lot of the maneuvers relative to the board are very similar, like reverse airs and stuff like that. Pretty commonplace now, but now doing flips, and so I think it's going to be just heavier waves and combined access moves, and then tying it together with good base skills of carves and turns, and then applying a creative approach to the whole thing, not just like doing maneuvers up, you know. You blow a barrel or you blow a whole section to do one flip. The guys that I think that are going to win are the guys that can actually surf the wave. You know, use what's in front of them and creatively apply themselves to the different sections as they go. So it's going to be a combining that. And gaps in their surfing will show up in the contest. So
you still getting many old school riders like the ones that we used to see back in the 90s, like videos, are they still riding?
Yeah, they are. You know, life goes on, and it gets very burdensome as you get older and older. You know, there's just so much stuff going on. You know, kids and house and car and all this stuff. So it's difficult, yeah. But yeah, a lot of guys still do it. You know, Ben Severson, he's back in, going. Eppo, I mean, all these guys still go, and you know, hopefully that they can see at least there's one old guy still doing it. I can still do it, you know. So yeah. To answer your question in short, yeah, they're still doing it. So I mean, to me, there's no reason why you shouldn't do it until you're dead. You know, that's my approach. So just enjoy it, you know. Enjoy it. It's a good way to enjoy life and enjoy nature, and I can't think of a better way actually.
If there was one wave that you recommend that you have to surf in your lifetime, where would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. It depends what you want, you know, what you want out of, where's that?
Coffs.
Oh, Coffs Harbour, yeah, Coffs Harbour, for sure. You know, I like Pipeline. The crowd is very intense, but the wave itself is pretty extraordinary, just because of the diversity of it. You know, small waves, big waves, last rides, barrels, ramps. It's got a lot. Gosh, I don't know. It just depends what you want, you know. Like if you want, you know, just a long barrel, you know, maybe Namibia, maybe that's the spot. I don't know. So it just depends what your objectives are. But there's some amazing places out there, you know. Yeah. And if you just poke around and start, you know, looking around on the map and just seeing where swells are and you know where it's coming, you know, there's so many spots, so many countries. Yeah, it's really cool.
Mike, what do you think Kelly's wave pool is going to do to our sport and the other sports like surfing? How's things going to change? Do you think it's positive?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all positive. You know, a wave pool is pretty consistent, and so I think that it even though it's an amazing, you know, to me it's an amazing piece of art, really, that he's done. You know, it's super cool. You know.
Have you surfed?
I haven't surfed it. You know, Kelly, what's up, man? We've been talking a little bit about it back and forth. So maybe someday I'll be able to surf it and give you the full report. But it's you know, it's an interesting era, right? Because it's I think what he's done is he's taken a technology and it really showed what can be done with it. So long barrels, you know, in talking with him, it's like, you know, he says he needs 2 or 3 waves in one day and it's good. It's because they're so long. You know, the thing's like 800 meters long or something. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting step in the evolution of surfing. And I think, you know, it's in infant stages as well. I think there's a lot to be done with it to really make it more, I guess, more progressive towards what real surfing is. So, but surfing is a different thing, you know. There's so much more to it, you know. There's the randomness to it. There's the wildlife. You know, there's a lot to it.
It's probably going to be good for progression, I guess. Like
yeah.
The connection to the ocean's kind of.
Yeah, there's been some discussion about whoever has one of those in their backyard is just going to go nuts. And you know, I saw it initially with the flow riders, where guys were like getting super good on this thing, and it's not really surfing; it's different. But what they're doing was just mind blowing. Like, what the heck? You know, doing stuff that I never saw before. And what you're going to do is you're probably going to see something similar to that in wave pools. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that person translates to an ocean environment, because in one case we did take one of the flow rider guys and he just was aimless in the ocean. Like, it was funny. Like, he was just absolutely slaughtering the stationary wave, but when it came into the real ocean, he just didn't know couldn't do anything.
I think it's reversed as well. I surfed the wave pool in Dubai.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
The flow rider is kind of a different animal, though.
Very fast.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, it's an interesting aspect to wave riding.
a savage mechanical ball, hey. Just right.
Yeah, right.
We got Chris asking if there's one wave in your career that like you think that you've said that's your best wave.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think so. I've had a lot of really amazing rides where I thought, okay, that was pretty good. Like, I'll tell you what, one thing that's cool is if you have an idea about creating a maneuver and then you go out, like I dreamt about doing air forwards way before anyone was doing them. And when I finally did one, it was a pretty awesome feeling. So always with new maneuvers like that, just that idea of a concept and then that concept through working towards it different ways comes to fruition is like, that's a pretty gratifying feeling. So, you know, doing the first rolls, doing all the first moves, first reverse airs, and all those, you know, thinking about them and then trying to go out and do them and learning. It's been really gratifying. Yeah. Any questions about equipment or anything else?
There's a question about my knee. Kane Brewer. How long is JC out of the water?
JC did a pretty sick invert yesterday at down south and tweaked his knee, so he's out of commission for a bit. So that's the answer there. It's okay, he makes for a good filmer, so it's all good. Alright, should we sign some stuff?
Alright, who reckons they got the best vintage board here? They can go first. Who wins? Alright, there's a few hands going up.
I'm gonna get more. You better film this, but.
Yeah.
I got one in the cards.
Alright, there's people running frantically.
Better get the other one too while I'm here. Damien.
Hey, what's up, Damien? All right.
Finally, that's it.
Oh yeah, good to meet you.
You too.
All right. Yeah, sick. Oh, I gotta. I'm gonna get you that band board back because I'm trying to find one with the rounded rails. You know which one that was?
Yeah. There's a band ball with round rails. Yeah. I don't have one. You can find one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Should I just sign this here?
Yeah, Thank you. So we did the membership.
Yeah.
We raised it just under 4,000.
That's cool.
So So two questions for you. I won't hold you. What shirt size are you? Because I've got a pack. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, I'm a large.
A large? Okay, cool. And then you've got to pick a number between 2 and 102. Because whoever gets that number gets it. I'm sending you as part of the raffle.
Okay, well this is live over here.
Yeah. That number, yeah.
Pick a number between 2 and
2 and 2.
2 and 102.
54.
All right, 54. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to go back and check on my list, and whoever you say wins the band board. Yeah.
Yeah, Damien.
man.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh yeah, can I just get a quick photo?
Yeah, sure.
No, I haven't seen Flynn. No, I haven't seen Flynn.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, right on. Good to meet you.
I'll hit you up for the podcast.
Yeah,
later
awesome.
in the week.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
All good.
John, I've got to chat with you too, man. I'll introduce you.
All right. Sign sticker, huh? There you go. Hey, good to meet you. Yeah, come on over.
Say hi, man. Oh yeah, I've got the kids, so hang around for a little bit.
I'll put this away in a sec.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Looks like a 42, doesn't it? Oh, hang on.
Awesome.
I'll get there. Yeah.
photo.
Yeah, yeah. Hello.
Not really.
You wanted to say something on this?
Where's Mr. Myers? Dion.
Oh yeah.
If you're around the Coffs area, we've got the club going as
If
well.
anyone's interested,
Local.
I'll take photos. Get in contact with your Coffs Coast Bodyboarding Association.
There you go.
And I can get you some photos. And we all should join
yeah.
up as a member as well.
You're welcome.
A local club. Mike, what do you think of the local clubs?
Awesome.
Join.
Yeah.
There you part, mate.
Dion over here. He'll tell you all about it.
So yeah, hit us up on Facebook, Coffs Coast Bodyboarding Association, or Instagram. So check us out. Send us an email if you want to join up, or if you want to come along any of the days. It's a family fun day. So yeah, everyone's welcome.
Or if you're in store, we can pass it.
Yes, or come in the store as well, and Rob should have the details, so we'll be able to sort you all out. Yeah, come down and learn some new tricks.
Is there a board limit? Like, bring all
No, that's exactly right. That's big around the house.
For a bit, boys?
Yeah.